Hello, 8th grade. Today we get to do one of the most important lessons so far, which is on slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. And what slope-intercept form is a way to write a function. So it's a way to write functions that makes it really easy to graph. So this is how we want it to be if we're graphing. So a way to write functions for graphing. And this is really, really important because it's going to make our life so much easier when we're graphing. We're not even going to have to make our little table anymore. So the way we used to make graphs before today is that I would look at this, I'd get an equation that looks like y equals 3x plus 1. I would make my xy table right there, pick like -1, 0, and 1 for x, plug those in, and get, -2, 1, and 4. And then I would plot those points on a graph and end up getting something that looked kind of like that. But that takes a long time, so we are not going to have to do that much longer, which is awesome. So that was the old way. And today we are learning a better way. So what we have figured out, I'm hoping you guys might have seen when we did our investigation on this, is that if we have something that is y equals mx plus b, then the m here is going to be the slope, and b is going to be the y-intercept. Which means if I want to graph this, my original line, which was y equals 3x plus 1, y equals 3x plus 1, my slope would be 3, slope, and my y-intercept would be 1. So graphing that becomes really easy, because all I have to do is draw my graph. I know my y-intercept is 1, so there's a point there. And then I have a slope of 3, which means I go up 3 and 1 over. And just with that, I have a graph and we're ready to go. Didn't even have to make a table. Should be pretty simple. So slope-intercept form is really, really useful. That also means that if you want to figure out the slope of a line or something, you don't need to make a table. You don't need to do anything if you have the equation. So if I give you guys the equation y equals 14x minus 5, then we have to realize that my slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And there's a problem here. This is a minus sign, and we need it to be a plus sign. So we're going to turn it into addition because subtraction is not fun. Get y equals 14x plus a -5. And now it lines up a little bit better so that we're adding here and we're also adding there. So that's a good thing. So looking at this, that means that my m here is the same as 14 and my -5 is the same as b. So I have m equals 14, b equals -5, which means that my slope is 14 and my y-intercept is -5, which is really useful. Again, that's going to make our lives easier when we're graphing, when we just need to find a y-intercept, if we're just asked for the slope. There's a lot of things that this can help with. But what happens if we're given an equation that is not in slope-intercept form? So I'm going to write one down. That looks like 2x plus 3y minus 9 equals 0. And the trick here is that to get to slope-intercept form, all we have to do is solve for y. So to get to slope-intercept form, solve for y. And that's all we have to do. So we're looking back at this equation right here. 2x plus 3y minus 9 equals 0. And solving for y means our goal is to get y alone. I see anything that says solve, and I think get that alone. So my goal is to get y alone. And the way I'm going to do that is to look at the things that are next to y and ask myself how I'm going to get rid of them. So first off, I'm looking here and I see that there's a subtraction of 9. It's the opposite of subtracting is adding, so I can add 9 to both sides. And that is going to get me 2x plus 3y equals 9. So plus 9 minus 9 canceled out. 0 plus 9 is positive 9. Now I'm going to get rid of that 2x there. It's added on, so to get rid of it, I'm going to subtract. So minus 2x minus 2x. And that's going to give me 3y here, because 2x minus 2x is 0. That's going to be equal to 9 minus 2x. Now the only thing that's left to get rid of is the 3. So I'm going to divide this by 3. Divide by 3 and divide that whole side by 3. Remember, this would be in parentheses, and division distributes just like multiplication does, so I can distribute this to the 9 and to the 2. So after I do that, 3y divided by 3, it's just going to be y, is equal to, and I'll distribute this division, so 9 divided by 3 is 3, minus 2/3 x. So it's 2 divided by 3, we can just write as 2/3. That'll make our lives a little easier. And now what I really need to do is I need to make sure that this is written as y equals mx plus b, which means that my x should come before the constant. So if I do that, I'll just flip both of these. I end up with y equals, this should be plus negative 2/3 x, so I can flip those. I get negative 2/3 x plus 3. So then from here I can tell that that is my m, or my slope, is equal to negative 2/3, and this right here is my b, so my intercept is equal to 3, and that's going to be the y-intercept. And that's what most of this is going to look like, is taking a problem that is not in slope-intercept form and turning it into slope-intercept form. Something else that this is really useful for is that if we see a graph, we'll be able to write it in slope-intercept form just by finding its slope and intercept. So if I have a graph here, that starts right there and goes this way, I can check out any 2 points I like. We'll use these two and figure out the slope. This goes 2 up and then 2 over, so up here, 2 and over 2. And again, slope is rise over run, which would be 2 over 2, which is equal to 1. And slope is m. I don't know who decided that, but slope is m, so that's going to be my m value. The other thing I have to find is the y-intercept. This right here is my y-axis. So the y-intercept is going to be at negative 2. So y equals mx plus b. My b equals negative 2. My m equals 1. I just plug that in, and I get y equals x minus 2. So looking through this, we're going to be able to do that with a lot more lines. I know in our practice problems, we have several of these for today. So make sure that you do the lesson practice at the end of your notes before you come into school, and we should be all good to go. I'll see y'all in class.